Okay guys, so it might be a bit weird, but I don't really know how to do this thing to have like a bilingual channel. It's really difficult, so I'm just gonna film the exact same video that I just filmed in French, now in English. Because I don't have time to add subtitles and I can't rely on lovely, kind people willing to put subtitles on my French videos and yeah. I guess that's why I'm gonna do it. So hopefully it's not boring, hopefully it's not an issue for neither the French viewers nor the English speaking viewers to have sometimes the same video. Today I'm here to share with you the books I really want to read in 2018. So I might be a bit late for this video because usually people post those kinds of videos in January, but I've been so busy with the competitive exam that I'm preparing for and that I'm gonna fail at, but that's another story, that I haven't been reading, I haven't been doing anything, and I'm really misreading. You know, there are so many books I want to read, but I can't really read them because they're not on the list for my competitive exam, and I feel so guilty if I do anything that's not for the competitive exam. But anyway, today I'm going to share with you some of the books that I really hope to read in 2018. So I'm not really like setting myself any goal, and I'm not like planning a punition or a punishment if I can't succeed, but hopefully, you know, I can read the majority of those books. So the first book I really want to read is Life and Fate by Vasily Grossman. So it is a Russian book, and I bought this one in Kazakhstan because I couldn't find any Kazakh book, unfortunately. So I thought, you know what, because I really like two things when I'm traveling: getting a tattoo where I am and getting a book from where I am. Usually I try to get a book in the original language and possibly a book by an author of the country and sometimes in the original language, but I couldn't find any Kazakh book, so I bought a Russian book. This one is considered to be the modern War and Peace. Apparently it is pretty good. I've seen really positive reviews of that book, so I'm really excited to read that because it is a Russian author I have never read. And yeah, it's always very exciting to discover a new author, I think. Speaking of Russian literature, I really want to read War and Peace. So yeah, War and Peace I'm gonna read in French because I don't, you know, I just want to read it in the easiest language for me, especially because it's gonna be such a challenge. I actually think this might be the most difficult book for me because I don't really feel like the subject is necessarily something I'm going to be really interested in, and I've read most of Tolstoy's fiction, but I think it's actually one of the most difficult fiction, at least for me personally, because I don't know, it just isn't necessarily the kind of fiction that I read the most, and I prefer non-fiction work when it comes to Tolstoy. For example, his thoughts on religion and politics and veganism or vegetarianism. I think it's really interesting. By the way, I have a video on Tolstoy if you are interested. I'm going to link it somewhere below. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I'm not too sure for this one, but hopefully I can manage to read it. Next book is Orientalism by Edward Said. So you might be surprised, but I have actually not read the entirety of this book. I have read extracts, I have studied bits and pieces in some of my classes. Obviously, I've come across extracts of the book many times while, you know, researching things about post-colonialism and, you know, just the question of obviously the Arab world and stuff like that. But I haven't read it, like the book in itself, so I'm really excited for that one. I think this one is gonna be just a nice, I mean not a nice read, but like a very interesting and what would be the word? Yeah, very interesting read that I'm super excited for, and I think it's gonna add so much more to my knowledge and my critical thinking, so I'm super excited for that one. Next, I want to read Moby Dick. Yeah, so I have studied Moby Dick, I think it was last year, or maybe 2 years ago actually, I don't even remember. So you might, I mean, if you've read Moby Dick, you know that it is not exactly the same English that we speak nowadays. So as a non-native, it is sometimes a bit of a struggle, not gonna lie, but it's manageable. I have read a few chapters. I've read like 25 chapters of this when I studied it, and I really enjoyed it. But the thing is, this kind of read is a commitment because it is a long read, because it's not easy because of the language. So it is more like a work, you know, it's not something you read solely to enjoy it. It's more something that requires for you to be really focused on it. And if you're busy and if you have other things to do, that's not really an option. But this one is one of my absolute priorities for this year. I really want to finish it, and because it was so interesting, I'm so excited for it. So next, a few books that I haven't unfortunately bought yet. I really want to read, I forgot to translate the titles in English. Hopefully my imagination is gonna be alright. I want to read Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino. Italo Calvino is an Italian author who is very well known. It's probably one of the most well known Italian authors. I've read 2 books by him. I've read a short story that I really liked, which title in English I don't know, so I'm going to put it somewhere on the edit. And another one which was La Conscience de Zenos, so the Zenos Consciousness or something like this, and I really didn't like this book, so I'm hoping that the Invisible Cities are going to be a much better pick for me. Next book I want to read is The History of Sexuality by Michel Foucault. So Michel Foucault is a very well-known French author, sociologist, essayist, man, whatever. He's a very important person, and I think his theories are very, very relevant to nowadays society, and I'm really excited to read his book, even though it is pretty difficult and it's like science basically. It's not really literature. Well, it's not literature at all, so but I'm hoping to get through the book. And 2 last books that I really want to read. I want to read The Karamazov Brothers, and I want to read The Idiot. I've read The Karamazov Brothers a while back, but I have completely forgotten the plot and everything almost. And The Idiot is something I really want to read because I'm really interested in rewritings of the Christ figure in literature. So by the way, if you have any recommendations on that topic, I would happily take them. And one last book that I'm hoping to read, but that's not absolutely on my list, is The Miserable by Victor Hugo, because I read that book when I was 13 and I can't really remember it properly, and it's like such a classic. It's not good that I can't remember it properly. So yeah, those are the books I really want to read this year. Hopefully I can read half of them at least. Those are all big books, so you know, it's gonna be a lot of work, I think a lot of commitment. I also really want to read more Palestinian literature, more Arabic literature, especially Egyptian one. I really want to refocus on the Japanese as well, because I've been kind of neglecting it, and it's such an interesting literature to me. So yeah, let me know what you guys are planning on reading this year. I would be really happy to know what's on your absolute to read shelf. Yeah, that's about it really. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Don't hesitate to follow me if you want on Twitter and Instagram, and if you like that kind of videos and if you want to see more reviews and more videos about literature, I highly encourage you to check out my Patreon. If you can spare $1 a month, that really helps me, because those videos require, I mean not that one, but like if I make a review of War and Peace or of any literature that's a bit time consuming, it is a lot of work, so that would be really appreciated. And on my Patreon I post videos and posts and pictures, and I chat with people, so that's pretty nice for $1 a month. So yeah, thank you for your attention. Let me know what you guys are planning or hoping to read this year, and I shall see you soon. Bye!